All right, so once you've started to decrease the person's resistance, now here's the question that we're going to ask them once they've given you permission to ask a question. Here's the question. So, what would likely happen if we were to work together? I'm not saying we should, but what would likely happen if we did? And that helps the person move from the thought of how much it's going to cost them price wise to getting them back in a positive state of mind and looking at possibilities, looking at hope, looking at faith, looking at without pressure to work with you, but what would happen if you did work together? Of course, this is going to be positive. They're going to say, well, I think I would be able to lose the weight and keep it off and actually have better energy and play with my grandkids, whatever they've said. They're gonna reiterate that here. And so then again, you follow the process. So the compliment here is, and so what you're saying is, if I give you the structure or if I teach you how to eat and what to eat and how to, whatever the case is in your offer, how to maintain it, for example, and you've just indicated that you're something that they've agreed to as your compliment. Might be that they're a really good implementer or that they're really ready. Then you're looking at the top of the gap. What I want you to think about is what's the lifetime value of either that skill set or of solving this problem. So again, the top of the gap, that's the positive result. So then they're looking at the lifetime value. That really sets up the powerful comparison, right? And now the bottom of the gap. Okay, so and what would likely happen if you don't solve this problem, if you don't learn this skill set? And they're usually going to come back with something along the lines of, well, nothing's going to change, or I'm going to continue to not have the energy that I want. And then because you've strategically decreased the resistance and you've reiterated the gap, the question to ask here is, well, based on that, does it make sense for us to move forward? Okay, and why you're asking this is it's a logical question, right? So they have been emotional about the money. So it's important to help them to come to logical terms, looking at it in context. So the value, the lifetime value based on the top of the gap and the bottom of the gap. Okay, so they might say yes and they might say no. So let's look at what to say in the next part. Okay, so, and they might say, yes, it does, but I just don't have the money. In that case, it's important to understand, is it that they really don't have the money or that they don't have the money for this? So you might ask, so is it that you don't have the money? Is it okay if I ask you, is it that you truly don't have the money? You've nothing in savings, you've nothing in reserves, nothing on a credit card, or is it that you don't have the money for this? If they say, I actually don't have the money, ask them, well, tell me, that's okay, but totally understand. What would likely happen if you were to make this investment? I'm not saying you should, but what would likely happen if you did? And again, they're going to be in the positive place. And again, if it feels in alignment, then based on that, does it make sense for us to move forward? If they say, I don't have the money for this, ask, okay, well, let me ask you, where would you get the money if you absolutely had to have it? Then they might say, I would ask my brother. Okay, then you can say, well, during our conversation, you indicated that what would likely happen if we don't work together is that. What would likely happen if we do is this. And based on that, do you want to do that now?